murder was compared to the likes of JFK, John Legend, Elvis Presley. It was a really big deal at the time.
You said John Legend.
I did say John Legend. He died.
Oh,
he did. No, I'm kidding. He's dead now. Welcome back to another episode of Makeup Mystery. My name is Sydney Nicole, and I'm here with my friend, Gabriela. I'm really excited because today we are going to talk about Selena Quintanilla, and I think this is going to be a fun topic. I try to stay away from true crime type topics, but this was such a big event in history that I felt like I had to cover it. So let me explain to you how this is going to work. I'm going to do Gabriela's makeup while I tell her about the story of Selena's life and unfortunate and untimely death. Throughout it, I'm going to ask Gabriela a few questions. If she gets the question right, we're going to use recognizable name brand makeup products to complete whatever look I'm feeling today. However, if she gets it wrong, we will be using less recognizable brands from the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Five Below, or maybe even Claire's. So hopefully we can work together. We're going to come up with a really nice look, and we got this. We can do this.
I believe in you. And
Thank
me
you.
a little bit.
I believe in both of us. We are going to go ahead and jump on in. Selena Quintanilla. Ooh, got it this time. Selena Quintanilla was born on April 16th, 1971 in Lake Jackson, Texas. And that makes her an Aries, by the way. She had an older brother and an older sister. And her dad he used to be the owner of a restaurant. But then after a big oil recession that happened in Texas, he jumped between a bunch of other jobs. So Selena's dad noticed that she had a lot of musical ability very early on in her life, and he decided that with her and her siblings, he was going to start a new band. And they started playing at birthday parties, local fairs, weddings, quinceañeras, whatever, you name it, you know? The band slowly grew in popularity. Hold up, can we just... Oh, wow. What a time. The band slowly grew in popularity and started to develop a following. By the time Selena was in her 8th grade year, her dad actually decided to take her and her siblings out of school so they could tour more and sell more of their albums and record and just do everything that the show life had to offer. Selena's teachers were a little concerned about this. They reported that she was coming to school like very tired all the time and that they were a little bit worried, but her dad just basically told everyone to mind their business and that he knew what was best for their family, which, like, in the end, he was kind of right, so we'll give it to him, you know? Even though Selena technically left school by the 8th grade, she did get her high school diploma from, like, kind of an online touring school in Chicago at the age of 17, and she enrolled in college and took classes in business administration, so she was a smart cookie, don't get it wrong, all right? Don't get it twisted. Her dad bought a refurbished bus and used that as their tour van for the entire family. And their first couple of months, years, whatever, touring was really rough. Like, they were singing for extra food. They had barely enough money to cover gas and, like, just basic expenses. Like, it was kind of rough for a small time. But it's okay because it does get a lot better. In 1984, the band recorded an LP named Selena y los Dinos. Drag me in the comments. I don't care. She wanted to record music in English, but her dad wanted her to record music in Spanish. And it's funny because she didn't really know enough Spanish to sing it well, so she was learning Spanish phonetically with the help of her dad, like, as she was recording. And it was kind of a hot mess, but somehow it worked. And Selena was eventually discovered by Rudy Tavino, who was the founder of the Tejano Music Awards. And in 1987, she actually won an award. And here we arrive at our first question. This is going to determine, Gabriela, if we use our high-end makeup or low-end makeup. So let me show you the differences of what we're working with, okay? If you get this question right, we will be using a combination of the 35S Sweet Oasis Morphe palette, the Jaclyn Hill 2 Morphe palette, and the Nikita Dragun Morphe palette. Unfortunately, though, if you get this question wrong, we will be using this, I think it's from the brand W7. I'm not exactly sure. I'll fact check later. But the palette's called Life's a Peach. This is from Five Below, and this is what it looks like. Okay, all right, not bad. And we'll also be using the Be Kind / Beautiful palette from Claire's. This has the works in it though. Eyeshadow, blush, brushes, kind of. There's lipstick. It looks like cream blush in here. It's got a lot going on. What award did Selena and her band win in the 1987 Tejano Music Awards? A, Songwriter of the Year. B, Song of the Year. C, Female Vocalist of the Year. Or D, Most Promising Band of the Year.
Oh dear. Female vocalist.
Final answer?
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
Which means today we're going to be using a combination of these three Morphe palettes.
I'm ecstatic.
I am so excited. She won Female Vocalist of the Year in 1987 and for 9 consecutive years after that, which is mind-blowing because could you think about winning the same award for a decade straight? That is so impressive. And that no one else can like come in and like stop you. Like that is like, that's boss babe vibes. Honestly, a whole boss babe. Despite the success, a lot of people still didn't think that the band was going to be like overall the hit that they ended up being. A lot of people wouldn't let her join their concerts or shows. Promoters didn't accept her, whatever. They said that she will never succeed in the male-dominated Tejano music scene, which is so funny to me. Because now when you think of Tejano music, what's the first person you think of? You think of Selena. You don't think of anyone else. So like, again, boss bitch vibes. Boss babe? Boss bitch. Boss bitch vibes. I'll say it. The band put out 5 more albums in the following year. And then soon they signed with EMI Latin, which was a label that helped them put out a few more albums.
I was really excited when you got excited about the fact that Tejano is like a male dominated. That's one of my favorite things whenever I start freaking out about it. I'm like, because guess what? What do you think of when you hear Tejano? You think Selena.
Like when I was researching that, I mean, it didn't surprise me because, you know, people suck. But like when I was researching that and they were like, yeah, male dominated, all this other stuff. And I was like, that genre is Selena at this point. Like that's her whole thing. And I just really love that. Just being like, oh, you don't want me to you don't want me to be part of this? I'm going to take it over.
And not only is it like, does she take it over, but she takes it over with very like, typically feminine lyrics and like hyper emotional, like that kind of stuff. And I love that works so much.
And it's perfect. In 1989, the band added a new guitarist named Chris Perez, and things are about to get a little spicy, okay? A little hot and heavy, okay? So at the time of meeting Selena, Chris actually had a girlfriend in San Antonio. So he was trying to stay away from Selena, but after going on a trip to Mexico with the band, he just couldn't deny his feelings any longer. We know what's up, Chris, but that's okay. I'm gonna let you have this. When Chris and Selena first started dating, they hid it from the rest of the band and the family because they were really afraid that Selena's dad was gonna try to break them up. And for good reason, because like when he did find out about it, he tried to break them up. So there is that. Eventually he found out because Selena's older sister tattled. It's always siblings, man. Siblings always will tattle on you at the wrong time. It's like, mind your business. In 1992, look up for me real quick. In 1992, Selena's older sister tattled on her to her dad about the relationship, and her dad really disapproved of it. He told Chris and Selena to immediately stop dating. They refused, so he kicked Chris out of the band and refused to let Selena go with him. And he thought that was gonna fix it, which I don't know why he thought that was gonna fix it. Look up, because it never fixes anything. Like, could you imagine telling anyone, any young adult, like, hey, you can't talk to this person, you can't see this person, like, you know, that's gonna fix everything, and that works? That never works. That literally never works, but go off, I guess. So we're gonna go back 1 year to 1991. In 1991, there was this super fan who saw Selena at a concert, and her name was, like a sigh. You already know what's happening. There was this super fan named Yolanda Saldivar. She asked Selena's dad if she could start a fan club for Selena, and he thought it was a good idea because he was like, it's more exposure, it's very little work for them, like she's gonna run it and everything. And she started the fan club and ended up as the president of the fan club. And she soon became a close friend of the family. So we're just going to leave it at there for a little bit. Just let that sit in the back of your head that happened in 1991, and that's where that started developing. Okay, fast forward again to 1992. Selena and Chris decided to elope and buy an apartment in Corpus Christi, Texas, and just live their life anyway. Of course, Selena's dad, like, really disapproved of this happening, but there wasn't a whole lot that he could do. He just had to kind of accept it. And after many years, he did accept it, but it took some time. It took a lot of time for him to accept that. Also in 1992, Selena and the band released another album called Entre a Mi Mundo. Is that right? Entre, oh, oh, I hope I'm not getting roasted. Which is known as the band's real breakout album. It was the first female artist Tejano album to sell more than 300,000 copies, and it was certified platinum. And it couldn't, I can't get into all the awards that it won because, like, that's another video in itself. Just know it won a lot of awards because it's a straight banger, okay? The album is just back-to-back bops, okay? And she even started a fashion line which included boutiques. But again, she accomplished way more than I can talk about in this video, so do some research because this video will be very long if we get into everything that she accomplished. What is your go-to Selena karaoke song?
I mean, Bitty Bitty Bum Bum. Like, I want it to not be that, but it's Bitty Bitty Bum Bum because
fair,
it's
though.
so wonderful. I listen to it and it just makes me happy, and then I cumbia all over my kitchen, and it's great.
As it should. We are gonna fast forward to 1994. Selena has opened up a few boutiques in Texas for her new clothing line, and she decided, her and her family, decided to put Yolanda in charge of these boutiques as a manager. Yolanda was not a good manager, man. She was kind of bad at her job, if we're gonna be honest. She fired anyone she didn't like, and apparently she didn't like a lot of people. So they had a hard time keeping people employed. And soon, Selena started getting reports about Yolanda just saying that she's a bad manager, she didn't know what she was doing, she's bad at her job, blah, blah, blah. But Selena kind of just ignored it and trusted that her friend knew what she was doing, because at this point, Yolanda was a friend to her. So she just trusted that, like, everyone was being dramatic and that Yolanda was handling things, and maybe just everyone just didn't like her style, you know? People started reporting to Selena's father that they were paying money for membership fees for the fan club or paying money for things in the boutique, and they weren't receiving anything that they were paying money for. Selena's dad started an investigation because he was serious about this. He was telling Selena that he didn't trust Yolanda and that Selena should stay away from her. But Selena kind of was like brushing her dad off. Like, her dad didn't like her husband at first. Her dad didn't like most of her friends. He didn't like her teachers. He didn't like a lot of people in her life before. So she just thought that he's being dramatic and, like, again, oh, you don't like Yolanda? Well, of course, you don't like anyone. After an investigation, it was discovered that Yolanda was embezzling money from both the fan club and the boutiques. And she was stealing a lot of money from the fans and from Selena. And here we arrive at our second question. Gabriela, this question is going to determine whether or not I can continue as usual with all my brushes and be happy as I complete this look, or if I can only use these sponges and Q-tips for the rest of the video. So please get this right, because that might make life really difficult for me. This question is, about how much money did Yolanda embezzle from Selena in the fan club? A, $10,000, B, $20,000, C, $30,000, or D, $40,000?
30,000?
Is that your final answer? It is $30,000, which means we can continue using brushes and everything like we planned, and that makes me really happy. Yolanda stole about $30,000 from the fan club and the boutiques. Selena's dad told both Selena and her sister about the embezzlement, and then later confronted Yolanda about it. He tried to separate Selena and Yolanda, but Selena was kind of like, she wanted to find out all the information for herself. Also, Yolanda had important documents for tax purposes and everything, so she wanted to still be at least on speaking terms, because, like, that's important when you're dealing with taxes and all this other stuff. A few days after the confrontation, Selena agreed to meet Yolanda at a Days Inn motel, in Corpus Christi, Texas. Yolanda promised that she was going to hand over documents related to like tax information or everything that she needed for the boutique. However, when Selena got there, Yolanda started making more excuses and not handing over the documents like she promised. So there is different information about exactly what happens. And obviously, we're never really going to know. There's only two people who are going to know exactly what happens, and that's Selena and Yolanda. So this is what I've gathered of what is believed to have happened on March 31st, 1995. Selena began to confront Yolanda about the embezzlement, hiding the documents, just basically like, why are you lying? Why can't you be truthful? Like, what the heck is going on? Yolanda then pulled a gun out of her purse and threatened to kill herself. Selena, seeing the gun, began to flee out of the motel room, and at some point, for whatever reason, Yolanda turned the gun on Selena, shot once, and hit Selena in the back shoulder. This shot proved eventually to be fatal. Selena stumbled to the lobby of the hotel room and eventually collapsed on the lobby floor. Before she passed out from blood loss, she told the person working in the lobby that Yolanda was the person who shot her and gave the room number to Yolanda's room. At this time, Yolanda started to flee. She tried to flee in her pickup truck. However, police officers saw her and stopped her before she could get out of the Days Inn parking lot. This started a nearly 10-hour standoff with Yolanda and the police, where she eventually did surrender in the end, but it was a long time to get there, all right? Selena was unfortunately already dead on arrival when she arrived to the hospital. They tried to do an emergency surgery. They tried as much as they could to save her, but at 1:05 on March 31st, she was pronounced officially dead. April 3rd was the day of her funeral, and there was a mass in her honor that drew a crowd of over 4,000 people. Over 30,000 people attended an open casket viewing, and her funeral ended up being televised, which was against her family's wishes, I found out, which is really sad, but like also when you're a star, I guess you don't really get to make those decisions. Her murder was compared to the likes of John Lennon, JFK, Elvis Presley. Like, it was a really big deal that she was murdered, especially because she was such a promising star. She died at the age of 23, and it was just a little over 2 weeks, I believe, before her 24th birthday. So she was just like really young, and it cut such a promising career short. A movie starring Jennifer Lopez was even created about her, and it's a big deal now. And here we arrive to our last question, and this is going to determine whether or not I make these pretty dots on Gabriela's face sparkly or just leave them how they are, okay? Ow. What year was the movie Selena released? A, 1997, B, 1998, C, 1999, or D, 2000?
Is it 97?
Final answer?
Yeah.
It is 1997, which means we're gonna make these bad boys sparkly. Let's do it. I think that's interesting because remember, she died in 95. So like the movie,
fast.
like, yeah, they were like super speedy with it, which like, again, I understand because when you're a big superstar, you do that, but like speedy with it. The movie was released on March 21st, 1997, which was almost 10 days away from the 2-year anniversary of her murder. And it was an instant success. It was also J-Lo's like breakout role. Her music lives on today. You can watch, there's a Netflix show. There's so much about her. So it makes me happy that her influence lives on, even though Yolanda's a piece of crap. Yolanda was given a life sentence for the murder, and she tried to appeal it, I think twice, but those appeals aren't getting anywhere because when you kill a global superstar, you're probably going to serve your entire life sentence. It is what it is. She's still serving out that sentence in a women's facility in Texas, and she will probably be there till the day she dies. She didn't really give a motive behind it, and a lot of experts or criminology experts believe it is just a if I can't have you, no one will kind of mentality. Also being pigeonholed from the fact that like she was going to go to prison for stealing $30,000. So it's really unfortunate because this didn't have to happen and it was really a senseless murder. And with that, we finally reached the end of the video. I really love this look for you. I just realized you haven't seen it yet. Huh? Huh?
Now I can be a mermaid like you.
And that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was kind of hard to research. I was kind of dreading it a little bit, but it was also great to see Selena's influence and, you know, just take a moment to pause and think about what she's done for the music industry and for pop culture in general. You know, like, she really is a whole icon, a whole boss bitch icon, okay? If you want to see more content, some more videos, please hit like and subscribe. We're going to pull out some new things soon. I'm really excited for the videos that we have coming up. Also, any makeup that I did not explicitly mention in the video is listed down below in the description. I also put my research down below in the description, so if you want to dig a little bit deeper, find out some more information for yourself, feel free to. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks.
All right, y'all, that is it for today. And remember, don't make up your history.